In more news that broke just a few hours ago, the Obama administration is upholding tariffs on Chinese-made solar panels. The Commerce Department says the Chinese government is subsidizing companies, which then flood those products into the U.S. market with low-cost products. But the American solar industry is divided, with some worrying that the tariffs will affect the entire green industry. Roza Kazan reports.
It's a trade dispute that split the U.S. solar industry and has raised temperatures in already tense trade relations between China and the United States.
Notices of investigation.
The case was initiated by Solar World Americas about a year ago. Its German parent has filed a similar action in Europe. Solar World and now the U.S. Commerce Department say Chinese producers are selling solar panels in the United States below cost, a tactic known as dumping. It also says the Chinese government illegally subsidizes Chinese companies and will now impose anti-dumping and anti-subsidies tariffs ranging from 15 to nearly 250%.
Morning, thank you for calling Sun Edison.
But U.S. solar developers like Sun Edison say the tariffs will only make solar energy less competitive in the United States.
Our true competition is not Chinese manufacturing for modules. Our true competition is the cost of fossil fuel generated electricity.
Sun Edison and dozens of other U.S. solar companies, part of the Coalition for Affordable Solar Energy, oppose protectionist trade actions which they say harm the U.S. industry. They say Solar World has used a legal recourse to correct its own failure to adapt in a rapidly changing market.
We believe in U.S. manufacturing. U.S. manufacturing can be competitive. The question is, why can't Solar World succeed in this market? And it really goes to some of their business decisions they've made.
Trade with China has become a major presidential campaign issue here in the United States, with each candidate trying to assure U.S. voters that he is tough enough on China.
If Obama would stand up to China.
The new tariffs may appear to be sending the right message to China, but at least some companies here in the United States say it will be at the expense of U.S. jobs and economic growth. Roza Kazan, CCTV, Washington.
For more on the latest on the solar panel situation in the industry and the growing tensions between China and the U.S., we're joined by Jigar Shah. He is the chairman and co-founder of the Coalition of Affordable Solar Energy. Thank you very much for joining us on Biz Asia America. Let me start. You've had a chance already to read the statement from the Commerce Department.
Sure.
Do you believe that it was fair?
Yeah, I think that any tariffs on Chinese solar cells are bad for the U.S. solar industry. We have 100,000 people in our industry, and only 2,000 of them are on the side of putting tariffs down. So we're representing the 98,000 people who benefit from low-cost solar.
These tariffs, I mean, it's a pretty significant range, 18% to 250%. You may not know the answer to this, but I'm just curious, how do they come up with those? Why is that range so wide?
Well, the range is actually quite narrow, between 18 and 34% for the companies that participated in the Department of Commerce case. If you didn't participate in the case and you didn't fill out any paperwork,
they were penalized more.
They just blanketly gave you 249.6% tariff.
Was it a situation, you think, where you're guilty until proven innocent, or innocent until proven guilty?
Well, in fact, the Office of Management and Budget within this administration and the previous administration have said that the process by which the Department of Commerce treats China is unfair, because China has a non-market economy like Vietnam. And so because of the input costs like electricity and water and others are cheaper in China, they always lose these cases. They never seem to be able to get a fair shake.
Should we talk about Solyndra?
Sure, whatever you'd like.
It's an interesting case. For the viewers who don't know, it was a solar panel company that the Obama administration essentially gave low-cost loans to. Ultimately, the company basically went bankrupt. It's not just probably them. There are other companies out there who produce solar panels in an industry that we all want to see succeed. Why is it seems none of them can succeed? Doesn't matter whether you're from China or the U.S.
Well, let's be clear about where the solar industry is globally, right? Last year, the solar industry was larger than the new coal industry, right? The solar industry was $93 billion, which the entire power sector deployment last year was around $350 billion. So almost more than 25% of all the money in the world for power sector deployments went into solar. So solar is not failing. it's wildly successful. Now, when you have a wildly successful industry like that, just like the semiconductor industry and the computer industry, you have a lot of turmoil. And some of the manufacturers choose correctly in terms of technology, and some of them, like SolarWorld, decide to choose the wrong technology, or Solyndra, and go out of business.
But I'm trying to not laugh here, because when you say successful, people are buying the solar panels, but the solar panel companies themselves, I mean, all the reports that I have read is they're having a tough time having a healthy profit margin, if any margin at all. What's causing this problem? Is it really overcapacity?
It is. What happened was in 2010, most of the solar companies were actually sold out. And so they built more capacity, way more capacity than the industry could take advantage of, because at the time they thought that India, South Africa, Saudi Arabia were going to become huge markets. And they are becoming big markets, but a little more slowly than they expected. And natural gas prices have come down, and so solar prices have had to come down to meet the natural gas prices to continue its growth. And so what's happened is that many of the manufacturers have had to take it on the chin to be able to meet these low prices that are set by natural gas.
This is a fascinating topic. Look, I mean, I'm completely biased because I want to see green energy do well, but it's also very frustrating because everything that I've read shows that these companies are having a very tough time. Jigar Shah, thank you very much for your time. We're going to have you back on again on Biz Asia America.
Thank you very much.